So, Doggies fans, I'm just really pissed off. I had to leave my house. I can't. I'm not a very nice person to deal with at the moment. Another Good Friday game. I, will try and say this player should this and should have done that. I'll find sure. So what I'm going to do is literally, the game was a game that sort of played out the way I thought it would as far as the closeness of the score. I knew the teams would be pretty timid. South made good use of the fact that we were disrupted with our backline big time in after losing the Fox. But it's got to be said, Isaiah Tass does a professional foul. We are on the attack. 10 in the fucking bin. It is 10 in the bin. If Sutton has ref these games a million times, if that's us under that pressure, South Sydney not only get the penalty, we lose a player for 10 minutes. In any other fucking scenario. All right? And if anyone wants to tell me different, I'd like you to show me the rules of the match. We were, 15 metres out, quick play of the ball, and it was a professional foul. The commentators knew it. It was just a simple one. A simple, easy, professional foul, 10 minutes in the bin. But no. Instead, Isaiah Tass is there when the Fox goes into touch, and in an accident, Latrell's hip knocks him out. And we are down, losing yet again another winger on Good Friday. We lost Fox last year on Good Friday. Some would say Wilson should have started, Fox shouldn't have played. I felt the Fox was a bit soft to start with on the contact. Not what we'd seen early, but it was warming into the match. And that we got a nice try to Burton to get back into it at 10-6. The very first penalty of the match, the very first, oh, fuck off, Brad. Simply, mate. Like, seriously, if it's about Hutchison, mate, you've got no fucking idea. If you're going to blame one fucking player because they, ran the ball instead of fucking passing it once, that would have changed anything. Honestly, man. He also ran out and didn't trust his defensive line on that first try. That was his fault, in my opinion. But let's stop fucking blaming one player every time, mate. Like, does your brain not understand that, mate? I don't care if I offend. Like, I'm sitting up here as a fat cunt, fucking putting my head out here, and all you want to do is fucking put shit on single players out when we fucking lose. Seriously, mate. Fucking, you wouldn't say it to his face. He'd put two on your fucking chin, mate. Like, I'm fucking pissed off. It's Good Friday, and yet again, we've been fucked. Now, look, we had enough chances on their line in that second half to win. All right? But they're fucking tired, mate. And that's probably a thing I'll talk about Serraldo. I wasn't happy that Sam Hughes didn't come on till the last 15 minutes. Now, he had some really good runs when he come on because the heat was out of the game. I think he was trying to do that. He kept his fit players on there, but I would have had him on earlier. Because it might have fucking helped. Because the team was so tired by the time he got on there, nothing happened. Right? Serraldo's done that a couple of times, and that's where me and him have fucking clash heads. But he's the one who's paid to do the big bucks. Right? He gets the big bucks, he's paid to do the job. But all these fucking smart asses want to come out there and blame one player for our loss. Fuck off. Seriously, it's a team sport. They should have done better. They should have won the game. South Sydney, to me, are a bottom four side. I can't see them winning another game for the next fucking 5 weeks. But it's the NRL. Funny things have happened. In relation to what happened with, what's his name? Isaiah Tass not being sent off, that's the turning point right there. Because if he gets sent off, which he should have been for 10 minutes, we were well on top. They were retreating in defence. They couldn't do shit. And I think we score tries. We score some points. At the very least, we suck some more energy out of them. And they would have been down to 12 players for the first 9 minutes of the second half. For the first 8 or 9 minutes. And that would have made a huge difference to the match. But instead, we don't have a winger. Crichton goes on from the left edge to the right edge. Carraz has to move to wing. Salmon plays centre. Then he tries to keep his fit players on there. Morrin sent off for 10. They always block it. Every game he does for us. He, honestly, he'll call anything we throw that's even, it's a forward pass. I just get the shits, man. I get the shits every time when they referee these games. And somehow Sutton doesn't see that as a professional foul. When in any time he's refed any other game, you've seen him. He can't wait to send people off for it. Professional foul, mate. Sorry, 10 in the bin. Yet we get Morrin in the bin for what I just consider to be a good up and in tackle. Happened so fast. Ended in a dangerous position. Put him on report. No one's hurt. Now, you can be rest assured if Jacob Preston stays down and can't get up and goes off the field with a fucking limp, they would have called that a fucking hip drop. They would have called that a hip drop every fucking day of the week. But they didn't. Our players get up and don't milk it. Or Kickow milked it one earlier, but so he fucking should. But the problem is that when they don't get a player for 10 in the bin, and then we lose the Fox, it just screwed up our defensive line, which meant that we were under pressure. Crichton went out there. And then when we lost the player for 10 minutes, to only concede 2 points was good. If South were confident, they would have put 2 tries on us in that time, especially with that issue. But instead of having the upper hand and having the extra energy for them having a player sent off, we're behind the 8 ball. We've got to make fucking changes. Fox doesn't go into touch and get hit by Latrell if Isaiah Tass isn't on the field. Because there would have been way more space out there and they could have drawn numbers and we could have scored some points. Instead, we're then down to 12 players. And just because we only conceded 2 doesn't mean it didn't zap our fucking energy. And then they brought Kurt Morrin back on. They tried to keep the fit players out there as long as they could. Put Sam Hughes on with 14 to go. Our attack was clunky from that point. We're lucky to even get that try through Crichton and Tracy. It was always going to be a dour affair. 2 teams. The Bulldogs are very, don't have cohesion. When we get the majority of possession and can wear teams down, it's different. A core always turns into a fucking bore fest in that type of situation. I've seen it numerous times. I'm just really fucking pissed off. I'm disappointed for the boys. I hope Addo says something about that professional foul call because that was absolutely fucking bullshit. And I cannot understand how the fuck Isaiah Tass stayed on the field. It is the turning point of that match. As I said, the Fox doesn't get injured. That thing doesn't happen. Then our team stays more cohesive defensively. Probably don't lose a player in the bin. Lots of things could have happened afterward. But it was a huge issue for the energy that we expelled in defence. And that extra energy is going to tell. Because, yet again, the team we play next Friday will have 7 days. They'll have 8 days. Because it'll be the Roosters. As usual, these sides in Sydney get an extra day's sleep than our guys do. All makes a difference. But look, our guys aren't going to make any excuses for that. We want to be the best. We have to take a lot of that on the chin. But I'm still fucking livid about it. I'm just sick to death of every good fucking Friday game, that fucking cheat and South Sydney member, Jared Sutton, he can give us 20 penalties. It won't matter. They've got set lines. Look, even that dropout that Latrell got to do, It took them about fucking 65 seconds to do the kick late in the game. He let them have breathers all through it. Like, where the fuck was the countdown? You know, the amount of leg pulls that the South Sydney guys did throughout the game, they should have been penalised 20 times more. I thought they were going to do that. And they said that Curtis Morrin put his arm between the legs. No, he didn't. He wrapped around his fucking waist. It was a perfect upended tackle. It just went wrong because of what happened with Mahoney. And Mahoney sort of got twisted and sort of fell backwards. You know, they make shit up. Oh, your arm was between his legs. No, it wasn't. Unless I watch it again and I'm wrong. But I watched the replay. Did not fucking have his arm through his legs. He went round his waist and lifted him up. Fucking angry. Angry. Anyway, who played well for Canterbury? I thought Max King was an absolute star out there today. I felt that Kurt Mann worked. I thought they all worked their ass off in defence. Josh Curran. You know, Hutchison did a couple of fucking... He had that issue where he didn't trust his line and he came out early and got caught in no man's land and they scored that first try, which they shouldn't have had the ball. We had him under the pump. Latrell kicks long. Tass catches it on the 20. He's about to run another 15, 20 metres. You know, I felt that Blake Tapp had a really good game. Did his best against his old club and, you know, set up a great try for Connor Tracy, which was brilliant. You know, we had him pinned down and Latrell gets an offload from his own end, which they cut through, and then we missed about half our missed tackles happened in that one play. I think they missed about 12 tackles in that one play, which was pretty shit, and they go out to a 10-0 lead. Yeah, I'm just fucking angry, mate. I'm so angry. And what makes me more angry are fucking Bulldogs fans who all they want to do after watching an 80-minute performance, an 80-minute game is go, our coach is shit, our 7 is shit. If we had a good 7, we would have won. Fucking, if we had any other 7, we probably would have been down, but we would have lost last week. The Titans probably would have scored 12 or 14 points before we knew it. You know, Hutchison did some good things in the game as well. Eventually, he's going to tire out. He's going to be busted from all the defending he's doing. And they'll bring through Toby or whoever else is putting up their hand later in the season. But right now, I think he's the best defensive option. And I really enjoyed the performance I felt Connor Tracy was really good. I was happy with our forward pack. I felt Mahoney looks better. The way he was getting out of dummy half was really, really good. There was lots of good stuff about our general play. But in that 20-metre zone, we've seen it at a core. You know, it was like watching Origin, the Blues versus Queensland last couple of years. They're just holding all the possession but couldn't do anything with it. But, you know, when you're down a player for 10 minutes and you've lost your winger and all these players had to change sides of the field, I know that's the game and you've got to deal with it. And the Dogs, to their credit, kept fucking turning up and they kept trying. They kept trying to ask questions. They kept fucking up as well. But at the end of the day, the heat was taken out of their attack by the fucking issues with Jared Sutton with that call. It goes back to that call. And I hope fucking Serrato has something to say about it because I'm really pissed off. Scary 79. Yeah, our attack 20 metres out was woeful. I think you got to look at the fucking context of the game. We defended with 12 men for the first 10 minutes of that second half, mate. We lost our winger, which means that we had to restructure our side. That is why, you know, both teams are timid. We're timid in attack. We're not an attacking force. 32-0. We still weren't that good with our attack last week, and I said it. We were able to wear the Titans down because they just got too tired. They actually, believe it or not, were pretty gritty in their defence for long parts of the game, but we then nailed them because they were just fatigued because they kept knocking the ball on. We won the game with our defence, and you know we're trying to do that because our attack is clunky as shit. Every try is not an easy thing to come by for us, you know. I felt, but when we've got energy, when we're trying hard, when we've got energy, we can put on some points. We've shown that. And if Isaiah Tass goes to the bin for that professional foul, South Sydney, we would have sucked the juice out of them completely, and I think we would have fucking went on with it and scored. Yeah, because the number 7 is useless. Brad, I think you should go somewhere else, bro. Seriously. All you can do is pinpoint one player, mate. Like, honestly, go down to Canterbury training one day and go tell Hutch what you think about him. Go look him in the eye. Go look Serrato in the eye and tell him. Because I think people who go out and attack people, I've told Jared Sutton to his face, by the way, but he's not that imposing. You sort of feel bad talking to someone like that about how they're a cheat. And I've called him a cheat to his face, but I wouldn't go saying it to any of the football players who put their body on the fucking line every week. I think it's disgraceful to single out players like that. I think it is. I think people should, if you're not prepared to say it to their face, don't get on fucking social media and say it. Sure, give them constructive fucking criticism, but saying that they're shit and they suck, yeah, grow up, mate. Fuck me. Gavin Bray, g'day, brother. It was a really solid effort for the boys. Really unlucky not to actually win. If it was last year, would have been conceded 36 plus points. Probably with the stuff that went against us, losing a player 10 in the bin and also losing our winger, we would have, and South would have capitalised on it. I think South Sydney are a little bit timid at the moment as well. So yeah, I think the game was there to be won. I'm not disputing that our attack wasn't good enough to win the match. I'm not disputing that at all, that our attack wasn't good enough to win the match. Because it wasn't. But that's where we are. Our attack, when you've got 10 new players in your 17, you're not going to fucking have good attack. It just doesn't happen. It takes time. And people have got to understand this. But the fact that they get in there and defend for each other, I think we really struggle when a team scores a try. We always seem to concede big meters off that next set. The other team gets some confidence. That's something we've got to work on. We've got to be, if we concede a try, the next set we've got to be better when we meet them. We have to be better. It's just something, an area which we can continually concede and gives teams confidence because they get a roll on then. Yeah, mate. Yeah, scary. I think our team is all on effort. We're a bottom 4 team. There's no doubt about it. The standard of competition is pretty good. And for me, Souths are a bottom 4 team, and I can't see them win another game for 5 or 6 weeks. Just the way they play. The only way they're going to get better is to, continue to do the job for their half, to kick the ball. Their playmakers are a little bit timid. Once Whiten gets cohesion going with them, they'll go a lot better. But yeah, and the fact they're missing Campbell, Graham, and a couple of others doesn't help their cause. Jai Arrow is a big loss for them, but we should have smashed them today. There's no doubt about it. It wasn't one single player that let us down. It was circumstance yet again, in my opinion. Couple of poor choices. Hutch should have passed earlier on one play, and he ran the ball. But there was times where he did things that if he didn't do those things, we wouldn't have scored our other points as well. So it cancels each other out. It's the good with the bad. Yeah, what do we got here? I agree the defence the boys put up was great in most part, but Sutton did his best to take away the moment. Exactly, Scary. Look, we got the majority of the penalties, and we got the majority of the penalties last year, but it doesn't matter. You watch games and you see when penalties are called, when they're under the pump and they get a penalty which gives them the ball 20 metres out from our line when they'll go nowhere. We can sit there and say Mahoney fucked up, but to me, Mahoney's tackling a bloke twice as fucking big as him, and he does have his arms in a motion of tackling the player. You know, he's gone up to him. You know, and yet the commentators say, oh, he didn't try to put his hands around him. If he did that, it would have been different. Well, I don't know about that. I think he did. And I also believe that, as I'll say it again, if Isaiah Tass is set to the bin, like, if you do that every game this year, for most referees in most situations are going to say 10 in the bin. No fucking doubt about it. No doubt about it. 10 in the bin. And I hope Serrato does something about this. And look, you don't want them wasting money. Well, there's no point copping fines. It doesn't do anything. Hasn't helped the Roosters get better on the penalty count. It hasn't helped Ricky Stewart. All it's done is made the fans probably like him because he's sort of stood up for them. But outside of that, all it's done is cost his club heaps of fucking money. Because he still gets fucked with the penalty count, unless he's playing the Bulldogs. No one wants to see the Bulldogs fucking win. Anyway, I hope everyone's had a good Easter beside that fucking tragic thing that just happened. I'm really not happy. I'm fucking ropeable. Angry at a couple of the end plays where we knocked the ball on. But at the end of the day, the boys have gone down by 4 points. They never give up. They kept trying. And that's all you can hope for in a side where we are at the moment. We should be 2-2. No fucking doubt about that. And most South fans would agree, I'm sure. And any reasonable person would suggest that Isaiah Tass should have been sent to the bin for a professional foul. And that did not happen. And that was a huge turning point in the game because we had to lose our winger. We had to reshuffle our backline, which cost us points. And then 10 minutes after half-time, or shortly after half-time, we lose a player for 10 minutes, which means that we are zapped for energy. And the fact, you know, and we lost Preston for 15 minutes as well with a concussion, you know. All this shit went against us. It all went against us. Yeah, so not happy about it. Latrell was very lucky to not go to the bin for the late hit on Foxy. Probably. I consider it to be an accident. I didn't think there was a case to answer. It's just our fucking luck. It's just our luck. The player that was there who got his face cut up from a stray boot, I think, from the Fox, Isaiah Tass, he shouldn't have been on the field. They should have been down a player, and the Fox should have been in the corner doing his Indigenous dance, and we should have been going to half time with a lead of, 16-10 or 18-10. Instead, complete opposite. We're in a complete reshuffle and conceding points on our right edge because of the way things panned out. So, agree that Dogs didn't play their best, mate, but my gosh, some calls were shocking, plus losing Addo at half time. Preston HII, Morrison have been for 10, so I say good effort from the boys. Yeah, I agree with that, Skank Cunt. I've just said it about 20 times if people haven't heard it, and I've lost me shit at a couple of people. Brad always pisses me off because he goes on about Hutchison. He just sits there obsessing and thinks it's Hutchison's fault we lose every match. Fuck me. I feel sorry for people who can't see the whole game in its entirety. Look, South Sydney had one call where we got a penalty for Dean Hawkins doing a flop. I thought that was absolute bullshit. But first tackle, we get the penalty. How many do they get on a late tackle, It's where they happen and why they happen. That pisses me off. And the 50-50 calls, we just don't get them. We just don't get enough of them. You can penalise them 10 times, and Sutton likes to make things up as he goes. He likes to involve himself in the match. He doesn't let it flow. There's two teams out there that are a little bit nervous in attack. That were trying hard in defence. South, I didn't think we were going to score points even in that last 20 minutes. I just couldn't see it happening. I was in hope. But, a core stadium in those conditions with two tired teams, two scared teams. It's just, it becomes a defensive arm wrestle. And it takes a big play from a really good player to usually change things, Sutton shouldn't be allowed on Good Friday games anymore. It's a joke. Well, we've been saying that for years. And I know that Phil Gould, he doesn't usually say it in Canterbury games because he sort of can't. But as a commentator, he said stuff about Sutton that he just thinks he's the worst referee in the game and needs to do things differently, the way he officiates the match. And that's just his general opinion on the guy. We always get a bad roll of the dice when Sutton's refereeing the game. We sure do. Oh, g'day, Dan. How you going? I'm still excited to see the boys play next week. That's the main thing. It's been years. Yeah, Dan. I hope they they go out there and haven't lost too much. The Fox won't be playing, so Wilson will be back out there, which I think, for some reason, I just feel a little bit more confident with Wilson out there. But we know that the Fox, when he's fit, he comes in. And that try we scored from Burton, Wilson's got the speed potentially to do something like that as well. But I'll tell you what, the Fox, every time he throws a ball back on the inside, it's generally on the chest. He doesn't get credit for that, eh? If you watch a lot of those tries where he gets on the outside and gets the ball back in, always on the chest. Fucking champion. That he shouldn't have been. Losing him was a big deal for our defence. Real big deal. But Dan, I'm glad you get to see him play the Roosters. They will be hurting after their big loss to Penrith. I felt Penrith were about a 20-point better side than the Roosters. The Roosters were gritty. They couldn't really get into the game. It was a real weird game last night. They couldn't get on a roll at all. If we get down there and get in the face of those big wingers of theirs, the Dom Youngs, and get in there and get aggressive with them, their attack, I'm sure we can handle it. I think we can handle it. That's where we can do damage for them, and I think we can grind out a victory. It's going to be a very tough thing to do, but I think it is possible for the Bulldogs to beat the Roosters. They play 100 times. I don't think we're winning more than 20 of those matches. Just with the way things are, they got a lot more flow to them than what we've got at the moment. But they're a team which I think doubts itself a little bit, the Roosters. I don't know. It's like 1 minute they're world beaters, next minute they're not. There you go. Anyway, I'm really bloody pissed off. Sutton shouldn't be allowed to. We need better support through the middle. So many breaks we make and no one backing up. Yeah, that's been a problem for years. I've said that a few times. Our best backer-uppers were Jake Averillo and Kyle Flanagan, funnily enough. But wouldn't matter if Kyle backed up. He'd then get tackled because he's so slow. But, I agree on that point. They were tired. That game zapped all of our fucking attack out of us. We looked a bit pedestrian early too. The first 5 or 6 minutes just looked a bit, I don't know what was the go was. I wasn't getting a good feeling, and then we warmed into it, and we were well on top. And that penalty, when Latrell kicks the ball and they penalised Mahoney, that changed a lot of things. To be down 10-0 was bullshit. But I felt we were the better team for the majority of that match, and really the fact that they got that leg up for keeping Isaiah Tass on the field was the worst call I've seen in a long time. Forget all these fucking other things they talk about. When someone does a professional foul, it's a try-scoring situation because off a quick play of the ball, they would have been under the pump. We would have had a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2. Try time in the corner, baby. But instead, we're losing the Fox for half a game. Ropeable. Be very interesting to see the stats of the wins and losses with Sutton in control. Well, scary if you check out. I actually created it 12 months ago about does Jared Sutton hate the Bulldogs or does he just love South Sydney? It's had about 5,000 views, and it's gives you the stats clearly there, mate. We are now 3 wins. Since 2015, we've had 3 wins under Sutton. I think 2 were against the Dragons and maybe 1 against the Roosters. I think they're the 3 wins we've had, and we've now had 17 losses. And that's our 5th loss to the Bunnies under Jared Sutton since 2015. And most of those happening on Good Friday, where he has sent a player to the bin in 4 of the 5 matches that he's officiated against the Dogs. And a few of those matches, we were well on top, I felt, in the contact, in the speed, but just where our roster was and where our confidence and all that sort of stuff was, and the quality of our side, we just have no resilience and fell apart quickly after it. But he's done what he's had to do to suck the life out of the Bulldogs, and it was to call him an out-and-out cheat, which I have done to his face, is I can never really prove it, but the stats suggest that he favours the Rabbits over the Bulldogs, and that would be suggested in the stats. For the fact that our win rate is higher, much higher, it's still not good, but still higher than our overall win rate since 2015 is a lot better than it is with Jared Sutton. It's twice as much. Yeah, well, the team he penalises the most are the Roosters. And there's been games where we win the penalty count, but it's when he calls the penalties. I've watched the games because I'm one of these dogmatic people who like to, if I say something, I like to back it up. And when he sits there and gives away all these 4th and 5th tackle penalties, when they're officiating in a certain way and he decides to sort of tweak it a little bit on the run, and then, and he mouths what's happening, and it's all very convincing, but, and it's not just that, it's where your 10 metres stand. Like, there was a 6th again call. Sorry, they got 6 again from Hutchison being offside. The 10 metres was at least 12 or 13 to start with, which is one thing you've got to watch. How close are the 10 metres? And Hutchison actually just goes as the ball's coming from. So to me, he wasn't offside, but he stops and waits for the rest of his defensive line to come with him. And then when they fuck up the pass, that's when he calls the 6 again for offside, which to me, we actually would have got an intercept then and could have been on the attack, but instead they get another penalty. And I think they, the penalty from touching the ball before the 10 metres, to me it was pretty close run thing. They didn't replay it. They get the 2 points. They go ahead by 8 points with 4 minutes to go, Game gone. Yep, that's it, Scary. We get on they penalise us after we've been defending for 3 or 4 or 5 tackles, no doubt. Yet when he gives us a repeat set, it's after the first tackle. Then he'll give us the second one after they do another tackle. So it'll say at the end of the game we've had more repeat sets given to us. Look, there's all these people who want to put shit on the Dogs, who will just make fun of our attack or just say that we should have won and whatever and blah 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 blah. People single people out. The fact of the matter is, we got the wrong end of the fucking penalties when they happened. Right? That was the issue. So I was pretty pissed off. Anyway, guys, it's getting dark in here. It's all right. Much love from me. I'm very pissed off. I've said that 100 times. I hate fucking losing to the Rabbits, especially. My mate Dane, who didn't come on, he's giving me fucking shit because he reckons his team's shit at the moment. But fuck South Sydney is all I can say, and go the Dogs. And fuck Jared Sutton.